Dixons.
I'm Ronaldo.
And I'm Kareem, and today's video is going to be about the cost of living and average for us. We have a family of 4 living in Liverpool area. So we did make a list. Where's our list? Thanks, yeah. Very disorganized. So we as we said, this is just our average for our family based on where we are renting and our expenses and all these different things. But it's just an average, and it could help others who may want to immigrate to the UK in helping to find an area that is cost effective. So Liverpool does make up one of those areas that is relatively reasonable in terms of cost of living, because it is to the north of London. So closer you are to London or south of London, it tends to be much more expensive. So what we will do is start with our most expensive monthly occurring expense, and we will just list things that we tend to pay monthly. So there are some one-off payments or one-off expenses, so we will not be including those.
So our rent is £630 a month, and when we got the apartment, it was semi-furnished. But not all apartments you get will be semi-furnished or furnished at all.
We will be posting a video of our empty apartments and then our decorated apartment. So that's a 2-bedroom apartment. We pay £630. So our next bill is council tax. So for council tax, we are in is it band E? Is it bands? What is it? How do they classify it? I can't remember. Do you remember? It's A, whatever it is. Council tax A, and we pay average £150 per month. Yeah.
Yeah.
For gas and electricity, we have one provider, and it is, however, separated. So our gas and electricity, it is prepaid, but it is separated. And on average, we'd spend about £130. It may increase during winter time, and we have to use the heat a bit more often. So average £130. We try to look for electronics that would have good, efficient energy ratings. Yeah, so I'm not sure how useful that was, but yeah, we pay £130. And we don't use our heating as much. We try to bundle up, and we adjusted our heat settings on our broiler so that instead of heating up our flat very quickly, we turned down the settings so that it would heat it up slowly, and that has made a major difference. So our first winter, I remember 1 month we paid was it £120 in just gas alone?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, £120 in just gas. And when we changed those settings, the next month it was £70, and then it went down to £40. So that has made like a major difference. And yeah, when it gets really cold, we'll just put on our heater once or twice daily, and in 2-hour increments. Next we have broadband, which is our internet, Wi-Fi, and it's a bundle with cable, which we don't use cable, but it just came with the package. So we pay £30.
Yeah, £30.
Yeah, £30. So we actually don't watch TV, so we just use our internet to watch movies. We don't have any subscriptions or TV tax or anything, so we just use internet and maybe YouTube. So broadband is £30. Next we have water bill, which has increased, and it is now £65. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the proximity to our workplace, we don't tend to take public transport as much. So we would walk most days, but we do sometimes have to go into city centre, so we may take a family pass on the bus. So on average, we'd say about £60 monthly we may spend if we do have to go to city centre. Next we have our phone plans. So we do have individual plans on our phone, data plans, and talk and text plans. So it's like a bundle, and we spend collectively £20 monthly. Yeah?
Yeah, on both of our plans.
Okay. Next we have savings. So for us, our savings are basically just investments or emergency funds, you know. So on average for us, we save about £550 monthly. Next we have groceries. How much would you say we spend on groceries?
About £300 to £400 a month.
Yeah.
We try to keep it within that range to ensure that we get everything that is needed for us home here.
Yeah.
We may have moments where we make trips to the grocery in between to pick up one or two stuff. So that's why we have it within that range.
Yeah. When we just came, on average, we spent about £200 monthly on groceries. But after being here for about a year, it has gone up because of the cost of living, one, and then two, we found our preferences in terms of quality of stuff, quantity, and just enough stuff that we don't have to buy out. We don't buy out, so we tend to just make as much things as we need at home. And if we have movie nights or whatnot, we just make stuff at home, so we don't eat out very often. Very, very rarely we eat out, so we try to make home as entertaining as possible. So on average, we'd say about £300 to £400 in groceries. Next, we have kids clubs.
Well, as we speak about kids clubs, we're more referring to like after school activities or
Not really
breakfast
after,
club.
yeah, just breakfast club, yeah. Because we don't do after school club as much. We'll talk about that afterwards when you go through what things that we save on, what expenses we don't have. But right now we just do breakfast club, and school has snacks. Yeah, I think that's it. So you have to pay like 40 pence per child per week for snacks, and we have to pay 20 pence per child per day for breakfast club. So for breakfast club, they just let them come in an hour earlier, and they would get breakfast and just do activities with them. So if you do have to go to work, let's say for 8:30, you could drop them off for 8 o'clock, and school starts at 9. So yeah, we'd spend for our 2 kids £10 on average. Next, we have life insurance. I recently took out a policy, and I'm paying about £20 for my coverage every month. We have home insurance, and this just covers items within our home, so just in case there were any damage. Okay, so for home insurance, we spend £25 every month. Next, we have our professional unions, or just, what do you call that? So for our profession, there's like a membership fee that we have to pay. So between us, we spend £16 and 20 pence for that. And I have a separate one that supports educational. So if you need to do like CPD courses or anything, so I pay an additional £5 and 25 pence. So on average per month, so this is our recurring expenses. We pay a whopping, let's say it together, £2,111 and 75 pence. Yeah. We do have impromptu expenses. So impromptu expenses meaning may not be budgeted for, or it may be expected, but it's not recurring. So for example, when the weather changes, we need to buy clothing, we need to buy shoes, and as you can imagine, for a family of 4, it could be a bit expensive. And because kids are always growing, they outgrow their shoes. For sometimes new terms, you have to buy new shoes, new coats and jackets and whatnot. So clothing, some outings, so socializing with other friends and family. So we may have outings where we may go to a different area, or we may go to a kids park. We can make a separate video on our entertainment, what we do to keep ourselves entertained as well here. Another impromptu expense could be birthdays. So when we have birthdays, we try to make it very special, buy stuff, decorate, balloons, cakes and whatnot. And medical expenses. So most of the medical expenses are relatively free. So if you have to see your GP, you would have to pay for prescriptions. So that could be a cost that could be impromptu if you don't expect, maybe to get ill or have a need to see your GP. And also dental visits, which I've just had quite a few dental visits. So that is something that is also an impromptu course. Dentists with the NHS are free. However, you can see a dentist and pay for your appointments and for your treatments if you need extractions or fill-ins or anything like that. It tends to be faster because you have less of a wait time. So if I call my dentist because I'm willing to pay, I could probably get an appointment for maybe within the next 2 weeks. However, if I were to wait on the NHS waiting list, it could take a bit longer. So if you do have like dental emergencies or anything, that could be an impromptu expense and has been for us. So yeah, that's our expenses. So we do save some of our costs by doing our own hair. So we are self-sufficient. So we do our own hairdressing and barbering. So there are 2 males and 2 females in our family.
Yeah.
So you have a son and a daughter. So if we were to seek services from a barber, how much would you expect our monthly bill to increase by?
Well, for all of us, well, not for all of us, but me and my son could probably be more than £50 a month in just barbering alone.
Yeah, so that is quite a lot. And is that bi-weekly visits or is it just once a month visits? That quotation is
Bi-weekly visits.
bi-weekly, 50. Okay,
More
than 50
than.
or 70. Yeah. Also, we don't have to pay for childcare. There has been instances where we would have to pay for aftercare just because of our work schedule, and it is quite expensive. So for 2 children, it costed us £20. So let's say we were to do that every single day, we would spend £400 every month. So that's a large amount. There are families who have younger kids who may have to pay for childcare. There are an allotted amount of hours that you get free, courtesy government. But other than that, you would have to pay, and it could be quite expensive as well with private childcare and with daycares as well. So yeah, those are 2 things that we more or less save on. We try to be thrifty as well. So when we do have our impromptu expenses, let's say we have to buy clothes or anything, we would try to look for sales, bargains, discounts. We use our Blue Light card or NHS discounts. Yeah. We try to plan things, and we also try to tap into resources where we could break down our payment in bite-sized amounts. So sometimes we may use ClearPay, which has been really good to us. I could link the link below, so you can check out ClearPay. We get to pay in, I think it's 4 parts. So sometimes if we do have to buy lots of clothes or whatnot, let's say the season is changing and all of us need new jackets or coats or whatever, we can purchase items and just pay for it in parts. So instead of paying, let's say everything came up to £200, we just pay 100 this month and 100 next month. So that has been helpful as well in terms of keeping our monthly expenses not too high. Yeah. How would you say overall the monthly expense? I felt like I did most of the talking. How would you say the cost of living is here? Is it manageable? How is it compared to back home?
Well, I find that the cost of living is manageable, especially compared to back home. If you look at it dollar for dollar, it will still be reasonably cheaper than if it was back home before.
But what is one thing that you think has been important thus far in terms of financial literacy and health and whatnot? What is one thing that you think so far, 1 year of being here?
Well, basically budgeting and sticking to the budget, that helps a lot. It also helps to keep us in check so we don't go overboard on buying things.
Which is very
Right.
possible.
So we
It's
try to
easy
manage
to-
as best as we could. And yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I'd add to that is setting up direct debits. Just because you don't have to actually think about, okay, let me pay this, let me pay that. So that has been really helpful. Yeah.
It does.
Another thing would be thrifting. I know that could be controversial, but it has been useful for us. So some electronics Depending on what it is, we may get it secondhand. We use Facebook Marketplace a lot, and you get really good items that persons may not want anymore. So that has been really helpful as well in terms of trying to be thrifty. Just because it's our first year in the UK, and it's like you're starting from scratch, so you have to buy things bit by bit as well. Yeah. Oh, and one thing I would say also is reward system. So if you do shop at a place regularly, you can sign up for your rewards card, and you can either get back points or free items. So for one of the groceries that we go to, we have a reward card, and if we do meet a certain amount in terms of expenditure for that month, we could get back 10% off. We throughout the month we get free items, pastries, snacks, discounts as well. So that has been really helpful, I think. Yeah.
It has. So thank you for watching our video. I hope the information was really helpful, and you can tune in more to get more information as you go forward.
Yes. Subscribe, like, it really helps us keep inspired to keep making more videos. And if you like seeing our family and just hearing a bit more about us and what we have to share, yeah, do stay tuned in and click the alert button so you'd be alerted every time we post a new video. Bye.
Bye.